the home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
Views,
there's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
Sports.
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
And music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
So today we have two special guests. Today we have Abraham L.B. Freeman from Liberia. He'll be doing the first presentation. Abraham L.B. Freeman is a CNN and Deutsche Welle, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, the Deutsche Welle featured social entrepreneur and an SDG champion. He is a founder of Environmental Rescue Initiative, which is a community-based organization that recycles plastic waste into usable materials. He also advocates for environmental degradation and engages underserved communities. And Abraham has recently been awarded an award in the United States of America. I don't have that on me as yet. Abraham, I think during your presentation or before, you're more than welcome to share that award, and we can all congratulate you on receiving the award. I know it's about the project that you are currently doing, which is one of the projects that I mentioned on here as well. So congratulations on that achievement, Abraham, and for representing the continent as well as Liberia as well. I'm sure they must be proud. And yes, so today Abraham will be sharing his knowledge with us, and we are really excited to learn more from Abraham. And hopefully we can then take this second session to go back to our communities or wherever we are and try and implement some of the lessons that we've learned on this webinar as well as yesterday's webinar. And like yesterday, I saw there was a lot of collaboration going on in the chat box, and that for me, and I think I speak for everyone, that meant a success for the webinar as well. It did do the job that it's meant to do, and we'll keep going. So today, before I take up much of your time, because we don't have much time and we have two very esteemed guests, I'll give it over. Oh, Foba is here. Hi, Foba. All right. I will give
hello everyone.
Abraham. Hi, welcome. See you've arrived. Thank you. So I just did a little bit of an intro as well as introducing Abraham, who's from Liberia, currently in the US. He'll be sharing his presentation with us first, and then we'll then go up to you, Foba. And then any questions, of course, the chat box is available. If questions can't be answered, you can just send us an email. Send me an email. I'll leave my contact number and email. And also, please send me a WhatsApp text. There might be a WhatsApp group coming up so that we can further enhance the collaboration and the knowledge and the network that we are about to embark on. Abraham, over to you. You are right. You could go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And thanks to DJ Hartley for organizing this from Korea.
So,
So
Abraham, I think you're.
I work with.
Sorry, Abraham, to cut you off.
Go ahead.
The network was a bit lagging there, and we can't see you actually. The lighting there.
The light, right? Is it the light or the network?
Yeah, the network is better now, so it's the light. It's we want to see your shine. So the light is taking all the shine. So.
Okay, let me go in the room instead of just 1 minute. Let me switch.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Let's switch. I'm okay. Is it okay?
Yes, that's 100% good. Thank you.
Okay. So my name is Abraham from Liberia, currently live in Liberia. But I came to attend the International Water and Health Conference in the US. So thanks to DJ Hartley for the opportunity to connect, make new friends, meet new incredible people from all around Africa. So I know we are out of time. I just did a little slides for sharing, and we can connect more on why we are in yeah. So okay, so I would just quickly speak on a topic called learning by doing, a powerful tool for innovation in underdeveloped countries. This is me. In 2017, I participated in the International Young Water Professional Conference in Cape Town, South Africa. It was my first time traveling. I was so excited to take all of the good pictures and post it on Facebook. But when I went to Cape Town, I actually met incredible young people from around the world. And that meeting actually started something in me. So when I got back to Liberia, there was a period of introspection. So as a means of self-discipline, and I had to uninstall social media from my phone. And I told myself, until I have a solution for environmental sustainability, I will not reinstall. And I also dedicated a portion of my income to making impact in Liberia. And that's how I started. So I did a research, printed my findings in brochures, started to distribute it in restaurants, barbering shops, and other places. I also got a interview from the West Africa Democracy Radio and stuff like that. So I started to have people interested in what I was doing. But then I got this newspaper that I published my work. And then there was this comment that said, this recommendation is lesser of a solution. So I was like using portion of my income, like no one giving me anything. But then I got this, the guy said environmentally should be thoughtful to contain the huge plastic by, reverting them into technology and stuff like that. So for me, for many, this kind of a topic would sound disparaging, but for me, I saw it as a motivation. So I started to think about what I could do, to actually do more, not just talking about plastic, but recycling plastic. So our work, we began learning how to recycle plastic waste into paving bricks and creating awareness in Liberia. So we've been featured on CNN 2 times and Deutsche Welle and other regional, local, and international media organizations. So doing something I like to talk about is the aspect of integration rather than diversification. It is always good to integrate new ideas into your passion. You know, it's good to work on your passion because the passion is what keeps you going. But sometimes we diversify from maybe, let's say you are doing awareness and then you go to technology. It's a good thing, but it's always good to align whatever new thing you're learning into your main passion. So during Ebola, we pivoted to kind of a recycling, but you can see these are trained traditional midwives. We produce this raincoat made from plastic and give to them with rain boot and stuff to fight COVID-19. So we are training women with a small grant we receive. We train women, and these women produce recyclable materials, and then the 75% of the proceed from the materials they produce, we give it back to them as community empowerment. We're also working with youth to do a lot of recycling initiative in Liberia, children and women championing environmental sustainability. And these are some of our products: raincoat, laptop bags, and paving stones. And recently we started to use the plastic to produce a broom. We started to incorporate glass and waste glass bottle recycling, as well as scented canner from the recycled bottle. So these are just few of our innovations. And I always say for climate change and environmental sustainability, no action is too small. To start yours today, use your time to volunteer, to do something, think about something, and let's leave the world a better place. If not, we should not endanger it for the next generation. So thank you so much, and I look forward to interact. Thank you. I think that was fast.
No, that was pretty good, and thank you so much for the presentation. Wow, that's a lot of amazing work, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I feel good that I'm in Africa. It feels good, man. So we need to do more. Indeed, we need to do more. And yeah, so I'm going to just looking at the time. I'm going to ask for if she's ready, and then we'll take the questions just after her presentation for both. And some questions, of course, we'll answer together. Some questions will be directed to you, etc. So we'll take it from there. Foba, are you ready? So just to do a quick introduction from. Oh, perfect. So she's from Cameroon. Foba Sandra Wameto, and she's a vice president at SOA Cameroon, which they are championing environmental sustainability through education campaigns, and strategic outreach. She has a master's degree in disaster and risk management, and she's an environmental educator and a founder of Bridges. And Foba, thank you so much for joining us today for this webinar. Excited to hear from you.
Thank you so very much for having me. I'd just like to hear your thoughts. It's raining here right now, and I just had to find somewhere to attend this meeting. I don't know if I'm loud enough.
Yes, you are. All right, we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, you can go ahead. We can see it clearly, and we can't hear. I can't hear the rain, so it's just good.
Can I please have my slides on? I can't do
it. Okay. Yes, of course. Douglas, are we good with Fawaz's slides? Okay.
I would first of all want to appreciate the previous speaker and to say that there actually is a lot, especially in this aspect of environmental sustainability and, you know, working together to find sustainable ways so that we can thrive. We as individuals can thrive, because my entire idea about sustainability and thriving is not for its sake, but for our sakes as human beings. So, and then the environment. So I would really want to appreciate the previous speaker. And today I have just a few things I would like to share with you. My topic is you and the blue-green. What, how, why, and where. This is just like a story explaining all what I've been through to encourage someone who is on here listening. Can I get to the next slide? Finding self. I'm basically going to be sharing my story because I did not just get into the environmental sector like that, but it was quite difficult for me when I finished my secondary schools and I was about getting into the university. There's this aspect of parental influence on what you would have to do when you get into the university. And I somewhat was facing that because my parents wanted me to be an engineer. So I took up engineering classes, preparing for their entrance exams. But I met a lady who helped me identify what I would do in the university just by a basic conversation. She asked me, what do I like doing most? What annoys me when I look at my environment and where I am? And I told her in simple terms, I just like taking pictures of natural environments and posting them on my social media, posting them on my status. And also the aspect of just seeing trash and wastes poorly dumped around our environment annoys me and irritates me. And just by this conversation, we both went through our university's degree programs. And then I chose environmental sciences as my first option. And that's how I found myself into the environmental space. Please, can I get to the next slide?
Okay.
So, actually finding self as an individual, you ask, who am I? In this case, in my case, I am a nature lover. I am an environmental advocate. I'm someone who loves being in nature and, you know, experiencing the serenity and beauty of nature. That is something that cannot be taken away from me. So to all you listening, you first of all need to identify who you are to be able to separate it from what you are. Can I have the next slide? What you are is everything that comes within or comes from you identifying how you can relate who you are as an individual to your environment, to maybe a particular career, to maybe, you know, something that gives you pleasure or something that makes you a name in your society or in your environment. So in my case, I am an environmental educator. I am an ocean conservationist, a community engagement advocate, and a youth empowerment advocate. All of these because I identified who I was and I was willing to share it with the with my community or with the people around me. And then I found names to actually, you know, bring this to light, not separating who I am, but combining it and merging it to be something that could be helpful for a society in the environmental space. Can I have the next slide? So these pictures are just illustrations of what I've been doing so far as an environmental educator, as a community engagement advocate, as an ocean conservationist, and as a nature photographer. Next slide. So how do you engage yourself into the community after having identified who you are and then trying to make yourself known by showing what you are in your community? I'll call it two magical words. And these words are volunteering and service. I would like to give a comment on what the previous speaker talked on when he mentioned volunteering. It really resonates with me because these particular aspects are the top tier tips that I'll give anybody who is starting in their environmental journey. Not only your environmental journey, whatsoever career path you've identified for yourself, you could start by volunteering. And I define volunteering simply as the gaining of experiences needed for your future career for free. Because when you go ahead to volunteer, there are people who would pay to have such experiences that you're having. But because you're volunteering and dedicating your time and maybe some resources, you are gaining these experiences for free. And the first image here actually shows me during my undergrad. This was our summer holidays. I volunteered at the Limber Wildlife Center, an animal sanctuary that hosts orphan animals. For over 3 months, I would pay my transportation from my house and back from my pocket, in fact, from my parents' pocket, because that is how passionate I was about, learning about the environmental space and wanting to, serve or give my time to a cause that I felt was very, very, that resonated very, very well with me. And the second photo just illustrates, the benefits of volunteering as an individual and actually starting your path with the aspect of volunteering. Next slide, please. These images also illustrate how you can put yourself out there. Volunteering, like I mentioned before, I volunteered in so many cleanup campaigns where we would, clean up the beach or a coastal environment, a mangrove ecosystem, while sensitizing the local communities on their roles as individuals to keeping that environment clean. And I would reiterate, not just for the fact that the environment ought to be clean, but for themselves and their health indirectly. So volunteering is how taking up leadership positions, any opportunity that you get to lead or to participate in a cause that you are interested in is one that you should go for heads on without thinking twice. And I keep on insisting on the fact that a cause you are interested in, because not everybody is interested in the environmental space, but unfortunately, everything we do is related to the environmental space. So taking up a volunteering or leadership role in any cause that you are passionate about or burdened by is a step in putting yourself out there in the environmental space. Next slide, please. Okay. So why volunteer? Why put yourself out there? Or why, first and foremost, it should be because you are passionate about it. And like I said, we environmentally share a lot in common, like the previous speakers mentioned, being passionate about a particular cause. This should be your first push, because when you are passionate about a cause you're working for, no amount of money or challenge brought by money is going to stop you from pursuing this cause that resonates with you. So passion should be the first reason why you should put yourself out there. It could be because you want a change, you want to impact a community, you want to, you want something to change about a particular aspect. So put yourself out there. It could also be for money. Many people have different reasons why they would volunteer or why they'll engage themselves in environmental aspects or trying to fight for a cause that resonates with them. It could be because of past experience. It could be because they would like to grow their career. It could also be because they find I'm so sorry about the noise. I'm so sorry about the noise. Having an open space. It could also be because they are trying to find fulfillment and believe that in doing this aspect or doing these things, they could find fulfillment and gain a sense of purpose. It could also be because they want to join a particular community. In this light, you could put yourself out there and, serve a particular cause because you want to join a particular community. The reasons why you'd want to put yourself in all of this is subjective, but at the end of the day, it should be something you are passionate about. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, these are just a few pictures of myself. I mentioned fighting for a particular cause. The first image on this slide actually was on the event where we were protesting for the rights for climate justice. And we have myself and a few of some members from Bridges at a stakeholders office in our local council, actually demanding for a particular cause about climate justice. And these are just some of the ways we put ourselves out there so that we can share our opinions as well as find a link to collaborate with such stakeholders for that particular cause that we are fighting for. And I keep encouraging young people that they say we are the future of tomorrow, but I say we are the future of today. So whatever activity or whatever thing we engage ourselves in should be for the benefit of our environment now, that will indirectly benefit us, as well as benefiting the generations to come. Next slide. So where would you want these activities you're engaging yourselves to take you to? Where do you want to place your accumulated experiences? Where do you want to be seen? You have instances like taking a stand for ocean literacy, which is what I do. And this comes from a deep observation of the lack of ocean literacy courseworks in our local communities and schools. So putting myself out there is already giving me a platform such that after having found my niche in this sector, I am able to now allocate whatever I've been doing and whatever I've gathered to the right stakeholders, letting them know that all of these which I've done accumulatedly, I've identified that this particular aspect and this particular niche is where I would like to place myself in. And then now I have a lot of backup to show how far I've come in this aspect, and I can be given a better listening ear towards bringing to perspective the particular cause I'm actually trying to fight for. Where as well entails creating awareness for change. Any individual can feel the need for change. But if you have not taken the steps to, first of all, grow your knowledge, grow your network, grow your audience in that particular sector, you may get into a room and you're talking, but you do not have evidence because of lack of knowledge. You do not have evidence to talk about that cause because of lack of experience or the real life experiences or situations that happen within that particular cause or that you're trying to talk about. So where also helps in actually putting yourself out there for a greater environmental cause or a greater cause that you are fighting for. Next slide, please. Where also in my case has brought me to bridges. So all of what I've done so far has spiked this initiative called Bridges in me, which is where I would like to put in all my energies right now, all my efforts right now to advocate for the greater good of the environment. Bridges is an acronym that stands for building resilient individuals, developing generational environmental sustainability. And this for me is very, very, how can I say, it brings so much joy for me to see that I am able to, together with Bridges, build a community of individuals that are, first of all, aware of their potentials, are able to utilize their passion for a greater cause, which not only brings fulfillment, but also provides them sustainability. And sustainability in this light does not only mean sustainability for the environment, but it could be sustainability for an individual financially or emotionally. So Bridges is out to encourage and engage young people and communities to get engaged into environmental aspects, the ocean precisely, because I live in a community that is close to the Atlantic Ocean. But I'll tell you, in about 10 schools that I've been able to educate young people in, I've never heard any of these young people saying, I would like to be a marine biologist, I would like to be an oceanographer, I would like to be a marine scientist. I have never. And this is because of the lack of this education. And this is why Bridges is actually here to try and narrow the gap between knowledge about the oceans and its exploitable opportunities to the young people and the young generations that are growing. Next slide, please. So Bridges so far has 10 young people that we are mentoring in the aspect of career development and environmental advocacy and activism. And we have different activities that we do, which are climate advocacy, ocean climate advocacy. We have social outreach, which is to schools for education. We have partnership, we have eco entrepreneurship or green entrepreneurship, where we encourage young people to be innovative in producing sellable products with local materials in, generally in trying to solve a particular environmental problem. That is, you get all your raw materials from a problem that is in the environment, come out with a product that is sellable and can gain you income. So we are very much open to young people who are interested in the ocean sector, the ocean sphere, or in the different activities that we carried out, because we are a growing youth initiative, which hopes to, in the nearest future, be in so many other countries and have impacted lots and lots of communities that are not very versed with the ocean sector. This also is very, very, something that is very, very burdening to me, because we as Cameroon, we have 10 regions. I think 2 or 3 of these regions are the ones that are by the coast, which means, or which leaves 7 or 8 of these regions less aware of our coastal ecosystem, less aware of the fact that we have whales and dolphins in our coastal environment. I used to feel that too. I used to think it was a myth as well, because I would only watch whales and dolphins in National Geography documentaries on, animal TV and channels. So Bridges actually hopes to take this knowledge and this education to communities that are away from the coast, young people to inspire them and encourage them on the different opportunities as well as the different activities that they can do, their actions or inactions that impact our coastal ecosystem at large. So these are a couple of things that Bridges has and will be doing in the nearest future. And we are very, very much open to collaboration with anybody who is interested. I think my last slide can be displayed right now. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for that presentation forward. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It's more in depth, and it definitely is similar to what Abraham is doing, what I am doing, and what yesterday we're doing. And yeah, no, really appreciate. I have a question before I throw the question out there for everyone else, to both you and Abraham. Because currently there is, in terms of community, when you started, what kinds of resistance do you have? I noticed Abraham did mention one of the resistance was a local newspaper saying that objecting to how they were going about sustainability. So now, what are some of the challenges and resistance that you get from the community society?
Is that question directed to me?
Yes, you can take it, and then I think Abraham can go for it also.
Okay, I think one is for me because I'm dealing with schools, and one of the challenges I face with schools is the aspect of change. I would generalize it as the aspect of change, because this aspect is on this ocean literacy and educational aspect is uncommon and has really never been in the Cameroonian school syllabus and all the like. The aspect of change and trying to get institutions to, inculcate these syllabus into their systems is a challenge. It's one of the challenges that I would say I'm facing so far. And also when it comes to communities have their norms and cultural beliefs about a lot of things. The different communities have been able to work with fishermen and local coastal inhabitants. They have this notion that fishes in the sea would never get exhausted, that they have their gods there, that when they get angry, they'll just maybe withhold it for some time. And then, so they don't believe that human activities or anthropogenic activity, well, most of them, not every community, don't believe that anthropogenic activities such as fishing and overfishing or using of chemicals would actually, stop the growth and population of some fish species in their communities. So just actually bringing this new perspective to them, we face some sort of a conflict when we are bringing, the aspect of how they are supposed to start behaving towards ocean resources, like not using very tiny nets in fishing that, takes up all, including the fingerlings, and not permitting them to grow. So we get in contact with people who have this ideology. So the ideas of communities most often is their ideologies about what they know of the ocean and what actually is in the aspect of sustainability in these resources.
All right, thank you. Abraham, do you have something to share about your challenges and the resistance that you've faced and are currently facing?
Yeah, yes, I will. Thank you so much, Sandra, for this brilliant presentation. And I can see myself as a mirror in what you do. And I know also other people on this call, can see themselves in you. I will also follow in a footstep and just go further to say, In my opinion, there are two things that are very difficult to change from a human perspective. One is people believe about religion, people believe about tradition and whatever. And the second thing is behavior change. Behavior change to say, for instance, we are used to going to the market and getting plastics or whatever it is. To change people behavior is one of the most difficult things to do on earth. So that's a challenge, but it comes with the work, and it comes, we as human beings is part of us. And then the second thing, I would say access to resources, access to critical resources is something that really pin a lot of innovations down in Africa. Most countries in the West, in the global South, usually look at sustainability as the last priority when it comes to funding and other stuff. So being in this space, you have to dedicate like almost your entire living to making an impact. But again, we like doing it, and we are doing it for not just ourselves, but for our children, our family, and our community. So yeah, there are a lot of challenges, but these are the two top that comes to mind.
No, thank you so much for sharing that as well, Abraham. So yeah, I want to leave it up. You can share any questions that you have to our guests, our participants have any questions. And you can just share the questions. You can just open your mic and cam. Let's just throw the questions for Abraham and Sandra.
If I may.
Yes, you go ahead.
Okay, I did pose a question to Forbar, but I'm not sure whether everyone could see the question or not, or did it not go through? I'm not sure. Could you see it? No?
No, I didn't. I have not seen it.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for what you have just presented. And I was astonished by your first slide, and I was wondering whether you took that on the basis of the book of Simon Sinek, who wrote the book Start with the Why, because it reminded me very much of what I have been thinking about in my past. And I mean, this is now very specific to any questions about environmental issues. But when you started in saying your dad wanted you to study engineering, and then you went into something very different, it reminded me very much of how when I speak to people, ask them, hey, what is it where your heart really ticks, and what are you doing, and why are you doing that? And I find it amazing how you got into all this, and then focusing on the environmental aspects, and then especially local communities. I also think, what we had been discussing yesterday, when Khayelitsha did her whatever, police. One thing that remained with me is that you said that the young people are then going to be those who really are like the ambassadors, and those who implement changes that are necessary in our future world. And that is so important to focus on the young. And I think, I mean, that you, Forbar, do when you say you focus at the school level and perhaps also university level. I think to actually focus on those who are making the change, especially in local communities. It's so very important to have the young people actually declaring what must be done to the world. And we talked yesterday also about the influence of sustainable tourism and how important it is, especially in tourism concepts, to see how one can integrate these kind of vital points, so that everybody is caring about our surroundings, and that young people are educated in that sense. So, no, I didn't really put a question in all that. Sorry, it was more a comment than a question. But when we think about tourism, where would you see that one can really integrate youngsters in all that? Maybe that is a question.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Thank you, Khayelitsha.
Okay, when we focus on environmental tourism, responsible kind of tourism concepts that includes young people at an early age to actually maybe see a career, as you described in one of your slides. How do you get young people engaging in that sense in the right direction to build kind of local community influence on that?
Thank you so very much for your question, Valentina. So I would like to answer that by saying we cannot protect what we don't love or understand. So to have young people who do not understand or even know about their coastal ecosystems, I don't think when they are older, they'll appreciate the fact that ecotourism is a manner in protecting these spaces. So letting them know, bringing to perspective, building their knowledge and capacities about the importance of these coastal areas and communities, which is one of the things I'm doing in the aspect of education. I believe with that understanding, they would really come to appreciate the importance of our coastal ecosystems, and then the integration now of ecotourism as one of the ways or aspects in actually protecting these areas as a whole. So I think that's like a way that can be used to let them know, first of all, their understanding of just what it gives us by being in natural environments. I mean, I'll take, for example, when I'm in when I'm at the natural side, I feel so relaxed, so at peace. All the noise from the environment goes away. So if they are able to experience, these kind of scenarios, I think it will be easy to let them know the importance of ecotourism in protecting and preserving these sectors.
All right, thank you for that forward, and that is so true. I do believe that. Look, I've had solace in this environmental sustainability space. I've had some tough times, some challenging times as a human being, but doing beach cleanups, I started alone. I was taking a walk and taking it back. And after doing that, I felt so good. I felt so happy, and I couldn't stop doing it from there. And I kept sharing it on social media, and people started asking to join one by one. So I would say this is a tough challenge. We have 8 billion people out here, and like I mentioned yesterday, even the soft drinks company, it started with one soft drink, one can. In the vehicle industry, it started with one man, one car. And look at how many emissions we have now. So we can also do the same, just one step at a time, one person at a time. Eventually, we will get there. And that's all it takes. Just one person, changing one person makes a huge difference. Balisa, you are good to go with your question.
Thank you so much, Khaltsha. It's not really it's not a question. I just wanted to piggyback on the conversation that's going. I just firstly want to say great presentations from both speakers. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I hope we can collaborate, because I think we can do something really great together. But I just wanted to go back to the point that you were talking about, Foba, that it's very difficult to get people to care about something that they don't love. So I think this is why we need to we need to include in our advocacy and in our presentation or workshops or whatever that we are holding or doing with young people, we need to include the conversation about nature, that we are part of nature, we are nature. And taking care of nature is not taking care of plants and animals and oceans. It's actually taking care of ourselves. And we need to bring that conversation so that they get to understand the bigger picture, that the environmental conversation is not just about the trees, but it's about ourselves and taking care of us. And we need to start falling in love with nature again. We need to start going on walks. We need to start going to the beach and putting your feet on the beach and just get young people to fall in love with nature. That is how we're going to get them to start doing the work, because then they would see the importance and the bigger picture. And I also love what Khotso was saying when he said that he started cleaning up on his own, but then people eventually joined. And I remember when I started working in the space where I was doing education and facilitation on do not litter and all of that. And I used to, every time, even if we're in a car, we're going somewhere, I'll tell like my brother, or please don't throw away. And we'll be so annoyed, like, why? Just keep it in the car. We'll throw it when you get to a bin somewhere. But now it's like second nature to them. They can't even throw a paper on the ground because they're like, oh my God, like Kanene Palisad really doesn't like this. And it really sticks with them. So I just want to say, let's keep doing the work that we're doing. Really, people will catch up. They will eventually see the bigger picture and join us in this movement. So thank you so much for sharing.
I just want to add up a little bit to what you said, Alicia. It's really funny because around me in my environment, like many people know me for that. I've made it so clear that you should not even, if you get to a point where you're not collect plastics, you shouldn't. If there's a possibility for you to hold your product in your hand, you should hold it in your hand, or have a bigger bag that you will not just turn around and throw. I keep plastics inside my bag till I find a trash. And I have friends who always tell me, you're exaggerating this environmental thing. You're taking it now on your head so much. I'm like, if I do not keep to what I'm saying to young people, or I'm not showing an example, then what exactly am I doing as an environmentalist or as a conservationist? And then I also have this example I use in classroom when you mention letting them know that they are part of nature. I have this exercise that I tell them close their and then imagine that all the plants and animals and everything on planet Earth disappears. Do you think after 5 seconds, every human will still be alive? They're like, no, they understand that the trees give oxygen and everything that is, in the environment is what we live and feed on and thrive with. So they're like, no. So I'm like, then you need to appreciate the environment and better take care of it, because you are not caring for the environment for its sake, but because you as an individual has to thrive in this same environment. So we need to strike a balance. So thank you. And I just wanted that up too.
Thank you. We have Elizabeth also with a question. I think we'll take her question last. Hi, Elizabeth.
Okay, good. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good morning. Thank you so much to our awesome speakers. They've done really great with the topics. I was listening to Sandra just now, and I just saw a candy wrap that I had from my last seminar. I couldn't get a trash can, so I just put it in my journal. And I'm seeing it now, and I feel so much at home with this community. It feels like we are doing the same thing in different corners of the world. So my questions is that, so backstory, we had an outreach some months back, and it was a secondary school. We had to talk to them about hygiene, and thankfully, with some little donations that we got, we were able to get little buckets and general sanitary equipment, just a little handy. So we did like a follow-up, and we realized that they had in fact not put any of them to use because the teachers wouldn't let them. The teachers didn't even see the need to help the students implement what we taught them. And it is funny because when we mentioned to the students that we brought these equipments, there was some grumbling and like, oh, they won't take us serious, like their teachers. So which was what prompted us going back there for like a feedback, like, oh, we came here some months ago, we did this. How far have you been able to, if not officially, maybe in a way of fixing it into your curriculum, or have you even felt the need to do it? And summarily, the feedback we got was not so encouraging. So starting from the scratch, where you have to deal with school children on the low key, because from what our speaker said, I think they had to start with little resources available to them, like just little talks. Abraham had to just use part of his own money and print like research results in brochures and all of that to distribute. So how do you handle the discouragements where you don't see this thing input to use? Say you are giving somebody a brochure and you're seeing them throwing it away, something that you printed with your hard-earned money. Or how do you feel, Sandra, when you go to schools and you are teaching something and the people that are supposed to help incorporate this thing into the structure, into the system, are not looking like they're giving you the response you should get? And also, are there practical steps that you put in place to help monitor to maybe help the students, like to keep track, basically, to keep track of the effects, the results that these talks and this advocacy, the results that it produced? Do you have a practical way of like keeping track of them?
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
I don't know how you're going to answer that one. It's a very beautiful question. But I don't know how long you'll need, but I think we can just go ahead and just go for it. I'm also curious.
Okay, thank you very much, Elizabeth, for your question. One thing I would let you know is that there'll always be these particular challenges. And like I and the previous speaker has mentioned, the aspect of change and mindset is what, really, really hinders us from these global sustainability issues that we are crying and talking about. So I think the only way or one of the only practical things that you can do as an individual if you want to see a change is to be consistent. Regardless. Acknowledge that there will be denial, there will be, some misuse of your products or with your hard-earned money and everything. But you need to keep the faith and be consistent. Because at one point, that one particular individual, I'm so sorry for the noise. At one point, that one individual or one person takes interest in what you are doing or in what you have taught them, I bet you there's a 99% that they are going to want to also replicate it. And that one person is who you're looking for. That one person is who you are out to inspire. It's a ripple effect. If you get into a classroom and there are 30 individuals and you get one person who takes that mantle, I bet you in that class, he or she is also going to be singing it like a song, like this is what we were taught. And so you should go in for the smaller audience for impact, wherein you're very sure to have a ripple effect at some point. So yeah, that's the little I can chip in. There'll always be these challenges. There'll always be. So first things first, you have it in your mind that these challenges will always come to play. And then prepare yourself emotionally to handle it and always be consistent. Thank you.
Thank you, Fova, and thank you for the question, Elizabeth. Very good question. And yes, thank you guys for joining us today's webinar. And we are almost out of time. And I'd like to give appreciation to you, Fova, for your time and the presentation, as well as you, Abraham, for your time presentation. All your expertise, guys, really appreciate it. And yes, for being open to collaboration. That's a highlight for me. Because yes, we are individuals, but together, we can make a lot of noise. So let's stay in touch. I see there's also some networking that was happening in the chat box as well. And yeah, we'll continue from there. Words that I've took on my side was passion. I'm taking away passion, volunteering, leadership, innovation, and the last one is consistency. Also the 5 words that I'm taking from this. And I hope everybody is learned that as well, and we are ready to implement one of that. Yeah. Any questions, you can get in touch with me. I think everybody has my number. Or Elizabeth, I'm not sure about you. In the chat box. Yeah, I'll leave it in the chat box for you, Elizabeth. But thank you guys for joining in. And without taking much of your time, I know Abraham is tired. It's in the US. It's like 3, 4 a.m. over there. So get some rest, my brother. It's going to be a long day. Thanks for work. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's
My
connect.
chat box wipe, sorry, I didn't get your contacts.
Yes. Yeah, don't leave yet, Elizabeth. Send it to
I would
just.
also like to get your contact still. Yeah.
You have my contacts, Valentina, don't you?
Do I? Okay. Oh yes, of course I do. No, sorry, no. Of course I do. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
No. I do. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm gonna retap it again. It's a South African number 06151.
The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is a professional development center for professionals who aim to improve their professional standing. This means that the learning programs we run are more than just academic programs. They are work-based programs that focus on leveraging your current experience as a professional to build your overall profile. A year down the line, the Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is developing into a preferred center for professional development in Pretoria, with 8 professional development faculties including accounting, teaching, entrepreneurship, as well as IT and many more. For more information, go to acwbl.org or dial +27 12 751 7608. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning, where work is learning.